Hello folks, my name's David Edgar, I'm the host of Heart and Hand, the Rangers podcast, and I'm joining you today immediately after Rangers' 3-1 victory over Hearts at a very cold and very wet Ibrox today. Well, what a week we've had, starting with a really atrocious defeat to Livingston last week. We'd hoped for a reaction, we got one on Thursday night and it continued today. An unchanged team, first time this season, and I think the plan was to go out and try and blow Hearts out the water early. Well, if it was that, then mission accomplished, because Rangers just flew out of the traps and got a goal. One of the more bizarre goals you'll see. Now, the first thing you're told as a kid, there are about 900 of them, because over the years, literally, I've heard thousands of... well, not thousands, that wouldn't be 900, would it? I'm cold, leave me alone. But one of the genuine earliest things you're told when you're playing football is play to the whistle, and Hearts didn't. Free kick to Rangers, played into the box. Hearts went out en masse, but not quickly enough. Alfredo Morelos was onside. He collected the ball. And as the stadium sort of collectively wondered what was going on, because Hearts did stop and just stood with their arms in the air, Alfie turned round, looked at the linesman, still couldn't quite believe it, then heard the roars of the crowd telling him, you can get on with this, and had the presence of mind to square it to the onrushing Ryan Kent, who put it away for 1-0. He was onside. It was just a bad mistake from Hearts, which they compounded a few minutes later, but in that time they made two excellent chances and Alan McGregor made two tremendous stops. And that's the difference between having a good goalkeeper and a great goalkeeper. A good goalkeeper keeps you okay. A great goalkeeper wins you points. And had Hearts got one back, taking the air out the stadium, who knows? But they didn't, and then Rangers, thanks to, again, more play from their tremendous front three today, when Hearts defender dawdled in the ball, wrong thing to do when the Energizer Bunny Daniel Candeias is about. He stole the ball off him, played it in with pace, and there was Alfredo Morelos for a terrific finish into the top corner. Really brilliant finish right in front of me. I was in the Copeland, and it was a stunner. At 2-0 then, Rangers utterly dominant. Good game actually, it really was, especially given the conditions. Two good sides really getting torn into each other. It would have been pretty entertaining, but for a neutral, but don't think there was many of them in the stadium today. And then Rangers made it 3 after half an hour with a ball overhit from James Tavernier towards the back post, but again Alfredo Morelos running off, makes something of it, nods it back down, the on-rushing Scott Arfield puts it away, and the game was done. It really was. Rangers were excellent in that first half with, as I say, the front three were magnificent. Candeias, all effort, but more skill actually. I think sometimes one of the criticisms about Daniel Candeias is that he can be a little rushed. He's getting better at that. Obviously there's something they're working on him with. Ryan Kent is great. He makes me feel all tingly in my downstairs. He can take the ball with his back to goal and be away heading towards goal in seconds. Either way, either foot. He's a tremendous player, and he's really exciting, and some of the skill and the shimmies and the flicks are, well, they warmed up a very cold day. I love him. I think he's brilliant, and Alfredo Morelos was magnificent. He was superb. The two performances he's put in the last two matches, that's why people get excited about him. If he keeps that up, he bullied their defence today. He really did. He didn't give them a moment's peace, and a goal and 2 assists. So, I mean, in real terms, there's concrete. And people have said that he's a bit of a flat track bully, and he doesn't do it against bigger teams. Well, he is. You know, you can't say that. These are big matches. He's putting in these performances in the last 2 matches, and I just thought he was tremendous. Nothing but praise for him today. And as I say, the front three, although again we didn't really have any failures because we'd have struggled. Into the second half, I expected for Hearts to come flying at the traps at us, and they didn't. And at that point, I thought they're beaten. And that was very much the case when they had a player sent off for a second yellow. Looked a Stonewall second yellow to me. And that did seem to be it. Rangers looked set to go in and batter them. Started to actually do the olays and the flicks and the tricks and whatnot. And we're playing some really, really nice stuff. A spectacular, God knows how many passes in this move. Ended up with James Tavernier coming close. But then Hearts scored from a set piece. The manager made a substitution at the set piece. Ryan Jack came on. Stop doing it just for superstition, please, Gaffer, because that's twice now that's happened. So ball into the box. It would appear that Connor Goldson felt that James Tavernier lost his man because he was raging at him afterwards, but the Hearts player got his head on it, nodded it in, and that seemed to almost end the festivities. Rangers stopped really playing in, began to flag. I think Thursday and today really caught up with them in the last 20 minutes, and they didn't play that well. Conceded one chance in particular to Hearts that was just down to slack play. But I got the impression that both sides had just settled for it. Hearts were like, right, that's respectable, we just went off. And Rangers have put in a lot of effort in the past 2 games and thoroughly deserved the victory. So it's nice to go into an international break on a bit of a high. It was a big win for us, but again, it was at Ibrox. And I do think that the players believe that they are pretty much unbeatable at Ibrox. What we need to do now is start to take that into our away performances. But we have Hamilton coming up. With all due respect to Hamilton, there's no excuse for Rangers not to go there and get that victory, even allowing for the fact that it'll be Hamilton's cup final. But we've ended this period on a high, and we've recovered as well from the Livingston debacle, as these 2 matches would have allowed us to do. So nothing but praise, happy bear, new strip and everything. Things are looking good as we go into this international break. I'll be back after the international break to talk to you after Rangers' next match. But if you want more from us in the interim, there's the Heart and Hand, the Rangers podcast, on iTunes, Android, anywhere you get your podcasts. It comes out Tuesdays and Thursdays. But if you want even more, our Patreon service, heartandhand.co.uk. Heart and Hand on Patreon, which is patreon.com/heartandhand. Again, I'm cold. It was so cold. Heart and Hand on Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/heartandhand. You'll get up to 5 shows per day. I'm going to leave now because I'm quite clearly incapable of stringing sentences together any longer. I think I've ran out. I'm not Daniel Candeas. I don't have his energy. Thank you so much for listening to me. I'll talk to you again soon. Cheers. Bye.